It's time for a brand new beginning for the Green Lanterns, involving the Teen Lantern. And what about Wally West? He's the new Flash over on the Justice League. Or is he? This is the Comicstorian channel where we take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panel, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. In our continued Friday is DC Comics Day, where I just grabbed some of the new issues that just came out and tell you the storylines within them, we're going to start two brand new storylines. Green Lanterns #1 and Flash 768. Now, you don't really need to know any backstory to know what's going on in these comics, as this is the beginning of two brand new storylines. John Stewart, Simon Baz, and Kelly, the three Green Lanterns that we're going to be focusing on today, and then Wally West and Barry Allen over in the Flash comic book. So, brand new storylines. I will keep you guys up to date as we move forward with them, but today, Green Lanterns 1, Flash 768, let's get into this. As the home of the Green Lanterns, Oa is ripped apart. Corps leader John Stewart tells to all the nearby lanterns to get the civilians out. While John concentrates on keeping the enemy back, Simon Baz flies in asking what happened. He was gone for like a second, and John creates a sword, swinging it, cutting off a lashing tendril, telling Simon that he really needs to watch his six. Where is Kelly? Simon asks, Kelly? Wasn't she supposed to be with you? And as they look down, they see Kelly fighting back the enemy. John tells Simon to get Kelly and get the heck out of here. And that's when another commanding voice calls out to the two of them. The Thanagarian Amira Kalan comes up, quickly firing at their attack, stating that this carnage belongs to them. This cyclone sparks with their green energies. John tells her that this isn't the Green Lanterns. He doesn't know what this is, but she can see that the shield goes up, and Amira says that all she can see is a city destroyed. Sentients are dead. She sees weakness. She sees chaos. She sees him, Corps leader. 2 hours prior, Hal Jordan's projection flies with John over the Battery Plaza, stating that he's got that look again. The one that looks like brooding. John sighs, stating that he's not sure hosting the United Planets Conclave was the best idea. The political structure of the whole galaxy is being stripped down to the studs and rebuilt. Some of the people here have been at each other's throats for thousands of years. Hal tells him, yeah, it's a bit of a hard one to swallow, but even if the Red Lanterns are here, what does that tell you? A female voice then tells them that it may be that their services are no longer required. Amira flies over to the two of them, stating that she offers her greetings and introduces herself as the captain of the United Planets Brigade. She goes on asking if they are troubled by the Conclave. They fear that they may be pushed aside for a new paradigm. Perhaps she misspoke. Human idioms are so simple. The Guardians have recalled nearly all the Green Lanterns here for this day, yes, to show respect. Many see it as a show of force. The army, the power rings, unbeatable, unstoppable. In either case, what's true is that the galaxy's axis has shifted away from Oa. Perhaps the question is not, will you fit in, but rather, will you even exist, Green Lanterns? Clear skies to you, Lanterns. Enjoy the sunset. As Amira flies off, Hal scoffs, stating, Thanagarians. And John tells him, yup, every single one. But at that moment, the Guardians appear before the two of them, asking Hal for his report. Hal tells them that all is well. The Justice League is on alert for the duration of the Conclave. As the Guardians tell him to resume his watch, Hal says that that's his call. But if they need him, he'll just be a hyper jump away, or a boom tube, or whatever it takes. But maybe throttle back on the brooding. The Conclave is a good thing. People are finally talking instead of trying to murder each other. And as Hal disappears, the Guardians turn to John, telling him that they require him in the evaluation creche. John asks, how is Kelly's exam going? And the Guardians state that they deem the self-described Teen Lantern as a quantum conundrum. A few moments later, in the evaluation chamber, Kelly blasts through one more of the test dummies, yelling in Spanish, and John asks what's going on. Simon says that they currently have themselves a ticked-off tween. She was fine, passed the IQ stuff, the psych stuff, she killed it on the physical exam, but then, John sighs, stating, you tried to remove her glove. And Simon says, yep, they tried to remove her glove. The Guardians all begin to chase Kelly as she yells, it's a gauntlet! She flies behind John, and John says that they promised not to do anything to upset the kid. And the Guardians state that they must examine her device. To do so, they must remove it, dismantle it, and dissect its components. She charges up her gauntlet, pointing it at them. Try it! John tells everyone to just settle down. Simon, Take Kelly down to the festival, see the sights. Simon nods, and as he takes her out, she shouts, "Don't even dream that I'm coming back here, ever, ever, ever!" Once gone, John says that is not Corona's gauntlet, right? And the Guardians tell him that they share a lot of elements, but no. Corona's gauntlet is still in the vault. They just do not believe that this is simply a coincidence. John says that the Omniverse has not settled yet. The tapestry is not fully rewoven itself. The Guardians state that they find these dangling threads extremely disquieting. But now they must go to the Speaker's Hall and see where the fate of the Green Lanterns lie. As John walks in, he sees hundreds of alien officials, all representing different factions of the United Planets, holding a vote on whether they will take the Green Lanterns to be granted membership to the United Planets. Meanwhile, outside, Kelly begins to make friends with an alien that is attending the festivities when the alien asks if she's not scared by their appearance. She tells them not really. She's been to Gemworld. That place has a lot of crazy stuff, but you? You just look like a floating wedding dress. The alien then asks what sector is she a part of, and she says actually she isn't a lantern. She is, but isn't. She doesn't have a sector or anything like that. And the voice says that she's a falseling. The gates to Gemworld have been cut off, and she is as false as her cursed guardians. She never saw Gemworld. Kelly yells, asking, "Who are you to call me a liar?" And Simon tells her, "All right, calm down. It's a peaceful gathering, so ease up." The budding alien asks, "Or what? You'll slap me down into the science cells? Falselings you are, a lot of you, guardians, lanterns." The alien lashes out at Kelly, but Simon quickly cuts the alien's hold off, stating, "Keep your hands off the kid." The alien then yells that their guardians broke the cosmos when they stole half of its magic heart. Now tonight, they will pay! Back inside, the voting begins about whether or not they should induct the Green Lanterns, when Simon radios to John that they have a problem. He rushes out to the giant green pillar of light, asking what is it, and Simon says, actually, I don't know. The fairy queen down there started spouting off a bunch of anti-Guardian stuff, made a grab for the kid, and now this whole glowing pillar thing is going on. It's magic, and I know the rings don't like magic. But before Simon can even finish, Amira flies down asking what is it, some threat that her brigade should take care of for them? John tells her that he appreciates the offer, but it's being handled. Down below, a negotiator talks to the alien, stating that the display will not affect the outcome. There are over 5,000 Green Lanterns here, as well as hundreds of brigadiers. The alien says that the conclave be damned. Her name is Yuridan, a master opener of doors and the gates from past and fate. My spell is deep within Oa, burrowing past your science cells, past your library. Whatever shall we find in your hidey holes? Secrets? Oh yes! And falsities? Oh, what else? Aha! The Guardians did steal the Star Heart and shut all of Gemworld's gates. And now with a word, I will open ours. Just then there's an explosion of light out of the pillar and an energy source begins to rip through the city. John yells for all nearby lanterns to get the civilians out. Everyone fall back! Amira fights back the energy, stating that they need to leave. Brigade ships could sterilize the site from space, and John tells her that it's not an option. She needs to get her people out so that the lanterns can handle it. She needs to protect the conclave. Amira then radios back to her brigadiers, telling them to rally at the conclave chamber and prep for an emergency evac. Orbitals, prime all batteries, sending coordinates, purge strike on our order. John shouts, wait, what? What the hell? Amira flies off, stating that she is doing her job. Don't be overlong at this. Her gunners will not slow to the mark. 7 and 7 protect you, and if we ever meet again, I gift you my respect, John Stewart. As she leaves, John takes a moment to clear his head as he comes up with a plan, when suddenly a man says that they must forgive him. They can't expel this from reality. John looks back at the man and states that he needs to leave, but the man says that the Guardians built something to defy such an attack. It's written in the Book of Oa. They need his help. He has studied the book. Before the Manhunters, the Guardians created a source of peace. They feared the power and disorder of the spectrum. John says the emotional spectrum, but the man says that he was never comfortable with that description. Love is, rage is, fear is, but life, death, no, they're not emotions. Greed, compassion, hope, what are they? The result of choice. And, John quietly says, will. The man goes on stating that the Guardians built a Metatrion to consume all chaos, all disorder. To defeat their weapon, the Guardians had to answer its questions. What is the source of peace? Simon calls out, asking him what's the plan, and John tells him that all the lanterns who can pull out. Even the Reds if they can. Get them as far away as possible. Everyone else form up. This thing eats chaos. Any energy, any action, any emotion. Power down. Still your minds. Listen, we aren't our rings. We're not the things that we make with them. We aren't our deeds, and we're not the stories told about us. The Reds are rage, the Yellows are fear, the Blues are hope, but what are we? We are the force of will. We are the mission. We are the wall against chaos. We are the beacon of justice in this galaxy. In the brightest day, in the blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware our power, Green Lantern's light. As everyone calmly holds their positions, the chaos creatures begin to lose power and wither away, and John says, "That's an interesting weapon. The only way to beat it is not to fight." Uridan begins to yell, "No! Unfair! Thieves! Villains! The Starheart must be free!" And back inside, the speaker says that they have counted all 644 votes. Oa is hereby accepted into the United Planets. Welcome, Guardians. All of the factions who vote yes cheer for the Lanterns, and inside one of Uridan's men says no. They must free the heart. Free the heart! The alien then conjures up a fiery bow and arrow, firing it. The arrow turns, bending to find its target, and suddenly hits one of the Guardians directly in the chest, incinerating them. Everyone begins to look around, some concerned and some not doing anything to help. Flash 768. A lot can happen in the blink of an eye. 1 minute, you're just a normal kid. The next, you're fighting crime besides your hero. Or you've fallen in love, or you became a father, or a cautionary tale. Huge moments made up in seconds, blinks, which for normal people pass by with hardly a notice. But for the fastest man alive, and the time it takes to blink your eye, the whole world can change. As the Justice League stands there, staring at Wally West, Flash asks, "What do you mean you quit, Wally?" Wally responds, "I love being a hero. I love being a part of the League. But everything that's happened with Linda, the kids, Roy, I just can't do it anymore, Barry, and it's not fair to anyone." As Flash tries to think of something to change his mind, Green Arrow tells him, "Kid's right." Flash says he doesn't think, but Green Arrow stops him. "Look, if the kid is saying he's had enough, then he's had enough. Why would you want him to keep going, Barry? Do you want Wally to lose control again?" Flash stops him right there. "Okay, that's not really fair." And Green Arrow goes on, "No, it's not fair, but it's the truth, Barry. Fair would be Roy standing here instead of Wally, but he's not. So let him go. It's safer for everyone. Just wish we'd had this notion before what happened at Sanctuary. Before 10 people lost their lives, Wally." Superman interjects, "Wally, Green Arrow's wrong." And Wally responds, "Is he though?" Batman then goes on, "Whether Green Arrow is right or wrong, with the discovery of the Omniverse, we don't have time for heroes who are half in, half out. It'll only lead to disaster. I'm really sorry, but things are finally back to normal at home, guys. I just don't think I can be in the League. The kids aren't having nightmares anymore. We're all breathing a little bit easier. I want to keep it that way." Flash stops him. "It's okay. I get it. We'll figure something out. As long as this is what you want. If you need anything, Wally, just ask." Wally hugs Flash and he says, "Actually, there's one thing." The next day, Wally walks with Flash and Linda asks if he's sure about this. Wally says they talked about this. If he keeps his speed powers, he'll use them, and eventually, that'll put her and the kids in danger, and he can't do that again. Flash then says he can still change his mind. There's lots of things out there, but Wally tells him that he's had his fair share of adventures. It's time to concentrate on family and not be a Flash. Besides, it's not like he's going anywhere, just hanging up the super sneakers. Flash says to cut him off in the Speed Force, they'll be moving as fast as they possibly can. Wally laughs. "Can you keep up, old man?" "Well, I am the fastest man alive, Wally." The two get into their positions, and in an instant, they're off. They run through different cities around the globe, across oceans, and then finally into the Speed Force. Once they get a good pace, Flash asks if he's ready, and Wally says, "Yeah, let's do it." Flash mentally preps himself to assist with cutting Wally off, since this isn't the first time that he had to separate someone from the Speed Force before. People like Eobard Thawne. He just never thought that one day he'd be separating Wally West. And just as the Flash is about to get ready and disconnect Wally, something happens and there is a flash of light. Flash calls out to Wally, but the lights begin to pull at him until there's nothing left, and as Flash stops, The only thing left of Wally is his costume. He picks it up and he begins to run again, but he stops. And then he looks at himself asking, are my powers gone? A short while later, after picking the Flash up, Green Arrow asks what does he mean by gone, and Flash tells him it's like he said. 1 minute he was about to sever Wally's connection to the Speed Force, and then next this surge of energy washed over them. Wally could be lost in the Speed Force, or Green Arrow stops him. Dead. Flash stares at the controls for a moment and then says that Wally is still out there. They'll have to find him and bring him back. He's already remotely prepping the Justice League lab. He'll need a tachyon emitter and the math to do the calculations, and he's going to need some help. Elsewhere, Wally groans as he finds himself in the middle of a forest wearing nothing more than a loincloth. He gets up asking if he lost his powers. Where is he? And as he looks up at the giant dinosaur, he realizes he's not in Kansas anymore. Oh boy! Over at the Hall of Justice, Flash says that he's spoken with Max, Jay, and Wallace, and they've all confirmed their powers have also disappeared. Green Arrow asks what does it mean, and then a voice tells him that something has severed their connection to the Speed Force. Flash looks back, welcoming Mr. Terrific, and Terrific says that he appreciates being asked to help. He loves problems of this magnitude. As everyone looks at the projector, Green Arrow asks, how do they know that Wally disappeared though? And Flash says because whatever happened, it didn't kill him. He can only assume the Speed Force took him. Green Arrow's stunned. Wait, can it do that? And Flash tells him there is a lot we don't know about the Speed Force. It's like a form of cosmic radio waves, invisible to the naked eye, but waiting to be picked up by the right conduit. And Wally, he has a special connection to it. Mr. Terrific says define special, and Flash says that he thinks that it may have chosen him, or at least is using him for something. Maybe it's rebooting. Green Arrow then says, or it's wounded. Animals, if they're hurt, they pull in on themselves, protect what they have, and maybe the Speed Force is nursing its wounds. Flash then says that could be why it wanted Wally, to help fix whatever's going on. Mr. Terrific says that if Wally is still connected to the Speed Force, and Flash says he can track him, let's get to work. Meanwhile, back with Wally, he looks at all of the primal wildlife and asks if he's dreaming. Of course he isn't dreaming, he time traveled. He's done it 100 times before. Could really go for a drink though. As he kneels down next to a pond, he reaches in and then yells that they've got to be kidding. He takes a closer look, and in the water's reflection, he sees somebody else looking back at him. He motions, and the reflection mimics, and he asks, am I a caveman? Am I inside of a caveman? This is new and it's very... But before he could finish, an alligator leans up out of the water, snapping at him. Wally jumps back using his powers and says, well, at least he's got those going for him. However, when he runs, he notices that he isn't quite that fast. At least not fast enough to jump through the barrier. But before he could even slow down, a raptor jumps out at him faster than one should ever be. It's a Speed Force raptor. Back at the present, Green Arrow asks how is this thing supposed to work again? He isn't really as smart as them. How are they going to project a message into the Speed Force? Mr. Terrific says that they are basically reversing the imaging processors in his T-spheres to project Flash's voice via tachyon waves into the Speed Force. Theoretically, it should be like a telephone signal, and if Wally, if he's in the Speed Force, should act as the receiver. Green Arrow says, well, heck, let's get this party started. Ready, Dr. Frankenstein? Flash nods and Mr. Terrific activates the machine with Flash calling out to Wally, asking if he can hear them. Back in the past, Wally holds the raptor back, stating that these things are so much cooler in the movies. And as he manages to throw the dinosaur off, he can hear something calling out to him. But before he could try and listen, the Speed Force energy starts to spark up around the raptor, and Wally asks, wait, is that supposed to happen? Suddenly, the raptor bolts forward with Wally narrowly jumping out of the way, asking, is it a Speed Force raptor? As he runs away, he can hear the Flash calling out to him, asking, is what? Where? Flash yells, it worked! And Wally goes on stating, are you talking to me in my head? Flash tells him that there's no time. They're working on a way to get him out of the Speed Force like last time, but Wally says, actually, it's a new thing. I'm not in the Speed Force. I'm somewhere in the Jurassic Park era. Flash is stunned. The 90s? And Wally yells, no, the one with the actual dinosaurs. There's literally a velociraptor chasing me, which, by the way, has Speed Force powers. Flash tells him, I don't understand, and Wally tells him, that makes two of us, and this isn't even the weirdest part. There may be a possibility that I took over some caveman's consciousness, so whatever it is that you're doing back there, do it fast, guys. After getting a lead on the raptor, Wally hides in a bush stating, "Okay, you've got a theory as to why this has happened, and you better give me the short version." Flash tells him, "Well, we think that you got swept up in the surge of Speed Force energy that catapulted your consciousness into an open conduit for power somewhere along the timeline." Wally asks why him though, and Flash tells him, "Because you have the strongest connection to the Speed Force. Our working theory is that it might be using you to fix whatever is going wrong with it. The only issue is that we don't know what's wrong with it." Wally sighs. "That's wonderful." But before he could finish the sentence, the raptor creeps into the bushes and the two of them take off once again running. Except this time, Wally sees the raptor stop. Flash asks him what's wrong, and Wally tells him that the Speed Raptor is shaking, like Shakira, which I'm pretty sure it isn't supposed to be doing. Just then, the Speed Force energy in the raptor begins to build up, and Wally starts running, stating, oh, that can't be good." As the energy begins to erupt, creating a massive explosion, Wally is only barely able to stay ahead of it. Flash begins to yell, "Just run!" But before long, Wally is swallowed by the blast. He blinks, looking around, and he says that he sees that he is now somewhere else, wearing something else. Flash asks him what happened, where is he, and Wally says, "Yeah, about that, I have no idea. I could be in the future, or space, or future space. Yeah, I have no clue." Flash tells him to look around. Does he see anything Thanagarian, Ronian? Wally turns to the glass reflection of himself and says, "Oh, no, never mind. I'm in the future. I'm in Bart's body. Let's just say his costume is snug." Flash yells, "That's great. That era has time-traveling devices. We can use them to get you back so we can figure out what's going on." Wally responds with, "Great. Just give me a few moments." And Flash asks him, "What's wrong?" Wally looks back at the looming shadow over him and says, "Well, that's new." And a giant alien reaches for Wally with Gold Beetle shouting, "What are you doing? Run!" And there you have it. This week we covered 2 more stories from DC's new line, Green Lantern's #1 and Flash. Well, technically #1, but it's 768. Hope you guys enjoyed these, and don't forget to check back every Friday as we cover more individual issues of what just came out in comic books. And what will happen is, as they go through, we'll turn them into full stories right here at the channel. But this allows me to just get more comics to you guys faster, and cover storylines that we may or may not be interested in. Next week, you're going to get Crime Syndicate, Suicide Squad, and The Next Batman. 3 stories that we definitely wouldn't have been covering for you if we weren't combining them with other things. So I hope you guys are excited about that. Also, check back every Saturday as we cover more Marvel Comics stuff. Next week, we're going to be wrapping up King in Black, and then we're going to start covering more Spider-Man, Silk, and various other characters over in Marvel, such as, I don't know, Beta Ray Bill, stuff you just wouldn't expect. Thank you guys for your continued support, and don't forget, if you go over to Patreon, patreon.com, you can vote what full stories are coming to the channel. And now that we're back in a normal rotation here at the channel, because my move is over, it'll be more active. So that's patreon.com/Comicstorian. Right now, you already get early access to our Winter Soldier storylines, Dead Man Logan, we got Tower of Babel coming out over there, and all of these are eventually coming out on the YouTube channel, so don't panic. If you can't support us on Patreon, just watching this video is incredible, and I really appreciate you. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time, right here.